The global trade landscape is fraught with uncertainty. Tensions are rising. The European Union and the United States are locked in a trade dispute. At the heart of the matter are tariffs. These tariffs are taxes on imported goods. They are designed to protect domestic industries. However, they often lead to retaliation. This can escalate quickly into a trade war. The current situation is a case in point. In 2025, the Trump administration imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The stated goal was to protect American jobs. The EU, however, viewed this as a protectionist move. It argued that the tariffs would harm European businesses and consumers. In response, the EU announced retaliatory tariffs on a range of US products. These tariffs are strategically aimed at products from Republican-led states. The EU's objective is clear: apply political pressure on the Trump administration. The situation is complex. It has the potential to disrupt global trade. It could also harm the global economy. This essay will delve into the details of the EU's retaliatory tariffs. It will explore the political and economic motivations behind them. It will also examine the global reactions to these measures. Finally, it will discuss the need for negotiation to resolve the dispute. In March 2025, President Trump announced a 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports. The move was met with immediate criticism from both domestic and international players. The administration argued that these tariffs were necessary to protect national security. They claimed that a decline in domestic steel and aluminum production posed a threat to the US military's ability to procure essential materials. Critics argued that the tariffs were a thinly veiled attempt to protect American jobs in these industries. They pointed out that the US military relies on only a small fraction of domestic steel and aluminum production. The tariffs, they argued, would primarily serve to raise prices for consumers and businesses that rely on these metals. The EU's response was swift and targeted. The bloc announced 26 billion euros or $28 billion in retaliatory tariffs on a range of US products. These tariffs, set to take effect on April 1, 2025, were carefully chosen to maximize political pressure on the Trump administration. The EU specifically targeted products from Republican-led states. This strategy aimed to create economic pain in areas that are politically important to President Trump and his supporters. Among the targeted products are bourbon whiskey from Kentucky, the home state of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, motorcycles from Wisconsin, a state crucial to Trump's 2024 re-election hopes, and agricultural goods like cranberries and orange juice from Florida, another key swing state. By targeting these products, the EU hoped to drive a wedge between President Trump and his base. The message was clear: the tariffs imposed by the US administration would have negative consequences for American businesses and consumers, particularly those in Republican-leaning states. The EU's retaliatory tariffs have been met with mixed reactions globally. Some countries, particularly those who have also been subject to US tariffs, have expressed support for the EU's actions. They see it as a necessary step to push back against what they perceive as protectionist policies from the Trump administration. However, there is also growing concern that the escalating trade dispute could spiral into a full-blown trade war. This would have devastating consequences for the global economy. Businesses are worried about disruptions to supply chains and increased costs. Consumers are facing the prospect of higher prices. In light of these concerns, there are growing calls for negotiation. Many believe that dialogue is the only way to resolve the dispute and prevent further economic damage. The EU has expressed a willingness to negotiate a fair and equitable trade agreement with the US. However, it remains to be seen whether the Trump administration is willing to come to the negotiating table. The outcome of this trade dispute has significant implications for the future of global trade and economic stability.